โลกประจำปีพุทธศักราช 2568 ซึ่งจัดขึ้นภายใต้หัวข้อ Recasting Teaching as a Collaborative Profession ข้าพเจ้าขอร่วมแสดงความระลึกถึงและสดุดีเกียรติคุณของครูและบุคลากรทางการศึกษาทุกท่านที่ได้อุทิศตนอย่างไม่หยุดยั้งในการพัฒนาผู้เรียนและสร้างสังคมแห่งปัญญาในปีนี้ประเด็นสำคัญที่องค์การยูเนสโกและประชาคมโลกให้ความสำคัญคือการยกระดับวิชาชีพครูให้เป็นวิชาชีพร่วมมือร่วมใจเนื่องจากโลกกำลังเผชิญกับความท้าทายด้านคุณภาพความเสมอภาคและความยั่งยืนทางการศึกษาโดยมีการคาดการณ์ว่าภายในปีคริสตศักราช 2030 โลกจะต้องการครูเพิ่มกว่า 44 ล้านคนเพื่อบรรลุเป้าหมายการศึกษาความยั่งยืน SDG 4 หากครูยังคงทำงานโดยปราศจากการสนับสนุนและความร่วมมือปัญหาการขาดแคลนครูและการลาออกจากวิชาชีพก็จะยิ่งรุนแรงมากขึ้นการรีแคสต์หรือการปรับบทบาทวิชาชีพครูใหม่จึงหมายถึงการสร้างวัฒนธรรมวิชาชีพที่ครูเรียนรู้ร่วมกันแบ่งปันความรู้สนับสนุนซึ่งกันและกันและร่วมรับผิดชอบต่อคุณภาพการศึกษาตั้งแต่กระบวนการผลิตครูการพัฒนาวิชาชีพครูอย่างต่อเนื่องไปจนถึงการสร้างสภาพแวดล้อมที่เอื้อต่อการทำงานในโรงเรียนและการกำหนดนโยบายสาธารณะหลักฐานจากหลายประเทศทั่วโลกได้พิสูจน์แล้วว่าการมีระบบสนับสนุนและโครงสร้างความร่วมมือที่เข้มแข็งจะช่วยเสริมแรงบันดาลใจและยกระดับคุณภาพการเรียนรู้ได้อย่างแท้จริงสำหรับประเทศไทยครุสภาในฐานะองค์กรวิชาชีพครูแห่งชาติมีพันธกิจในการส่งเสริมและพัฒนาวิชาชีพครูให้มีมาตรฐานวิชาชีพและมีจรรยาบรรณที่มั่นคงควบคู่กับการพัฒนาครูอย่างต่อเนื่องครุสภายังมุ่งเน้นการสร้างเครือข่ายความร่วมมือระหว่างหน่วยงานภาครัฐและเอกชนองค์กรวิชาชีพและสถาบันการศึกษาเพื่อให้ครูทุกคนไม่ต้องทำงานอย่างโดดเดี่ยวแต่สามารถเติบโตได้อย่างมั่นคงในระบบนิเวศทางวิชาชีพที่เข้มแข็งเกื้อกูลและเป็นหนึ่งเดียวกันในโอกาสวันครูโลกนี้ข้าพเจ้าขอชื่นชมและขอบคุณครูไทยทุกคนที่ทำหน้าที่ทั้งเป็นผู้สอนผู้สร้างแรงบันดาลใจและผู้หล่อหลอมอนาคตของชาติครุสภาขอยืนยันว่าจะยืนหยัดเคียงข้างครูทุกคนเพื่อร่วมกันขับเคลื่อนวิชาชีพครูไทยให้ก้าวไปพร้อมกับมาตรฐานสากลและสร้างการศึกษาที่มีคุณภาพเท่าเทียมและยั่งยืนให้กับผู้เรียนและสังคมไทยต่อไปค่ะขอบคุณค่ะสวัสดีค่ะOn the occasion of World Teachers' Day 2025, held under the theme Recasting Teaching as a Collaborative Profession, I wish to express my profound recognition and honor to all teachers and education personnel who have dedicated themselves to developing learners and building a knowledge-based society. This year, UNESCO and the global community highlight the importance of elevating teaching profession into a collaborative profession. As the world is facing critical challenges concerning quality, equity, and sustainability in education, it's estimated that by 2030, over 44 million additional teachers will be needed to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal 4 on inclusive and equitable quality education. If teachers continue to work in isolation without sufficient support and collaboration, the issues of teacher shortage and attrition will only intensify. The concept of recasting the teaching profession therefore call for cultivating a professional culture where teachers learn together, share knowledge, support one another, and take collective responsibility for educational quality. This involves every stage from teacher preparation and continuous professional development to creating supportive working environments in school and shaping public policy. Evidence from numerous countries has demonstrated that strong support systems and structure of collaboration can truly enhance teacher motivation and improve the quality of learning. In Thailand, the Teacher Council of Thailand, as the Council for Teachers, is firmly committed to promoting and advancing the teaching profession through professional standards and ethics while ensuring continuous teacher development. The Teacher Council of Thailand also emphasizes building collaborative networks among public and private sectors, professional organizations, and educational institutions. This is to ensure that teachers do not stand alone, but instead thrive within a strong, supportive, and unified professional ecosystem. On this World Teachers' Day, I wish to extend my admiration and gratitude to all Thai teachers who serve as educators, inspirers, and architects of our nation's future. The Teacher Council of Thailand reaffirms its commitment to stand alongside every teacher, working together to advance the teaching profession in line with international standards and to create an education system of high quality, equitable, and sustainable for all Thai teachers, learners, and society. Thank you very much. สวัสดีค่ะ
Good morning, everyone. My name is Thanawat Sonapan, teacher from Ratchaburi School, Bangkok. Have you ever got a 9 p.m. line message that starts with, "Sorry for the late night message. I know it's your personal time, but you know what? It's never really an apology, is it? It's a new trust." And talk about personal time. You're a teacher, right? I think you don't have one. And what about this phrase? Digital transformation. Less paperwork, they said. More innovation, they said. It's meant to mean less teacher workload? No. It's just a fancier way to say more paperwork, but now online, with a poor Wi-Fi connection. Or workshop on AI and teaching innovation, but they're only ready-made prompt and pop, a new lesson plan, or some kind of AI-generated cartoon. The questions before us is this: will we allow ourselves to become mere technicians of reform, or will we reclaim our rightful role of transformative intellectuals who shape knowledge, culture, and democracy together? On this World Teachers' Day, we celebrate a critical theme: recasting teaching and a collaborative profession. This theme is not just aspirational, it is the fundamental answer to the digital paradox. Competency without care and innovation without inclusion risk deepening alienation and burnout among educators, transforming them into mere consumers of technology rather than empowered architects of learning. To move beyond the digital mirage and its constant burdens, I propose a framework of 3 pillars: reclaim agency, rethink competency, and reconstruct well-being. The first pillar is reclaiming professional agency. Why this is necessary? Because we face the threat of de-skilling and proletarianization. Our work is reduced to compliance, ticking off competency and following directive, because the technocratic system demands the separation of conception from execution. Conception, the critical thinking, designing, and questioning is reserved for experts. But execution, the implementing and managing, is left to us. Collaboration is our antidote to this de-skilling. It is the collective cultural work that resists standardization. 1. Collaboration versus compliance. True collaboration is not about managerial efficiency. It is about establishing our collective voice in the reform debate. It is about actively producing curricular materials suited to the cultural and social context in which we teach, refusing to implement standardized content that ignores our students' histories and cultural needs. The Thai collective voice. Teachers have to organize collectively and improve the conditions under which we work. We are seeing this demand answered right here in Thailand. Like example, the Gorgan Crew movement is a powerful example of a teacher social movement building relational agency through democratic dialogue. It restores professional dignity by reclaiming our voice. Another example is the INSCREW community demonstrates collective intellectual labor. This teacher-led professional learning networks bypasses bureaucracy to allow us to voluntarily share, co-create, and reflect. These grassroots networks are the institutionalized collective voice. The paper advocated for proving that the most authentic digital transformation is driven by teacher, not top-down mandates. 3. Protecting the collaborative space. To make this collective cultural work sustainable, we must protect the time, for critical reflection, which is the core of intellectual labor. Dedicated time. Professional reflections must be recognized in policy and timetables, not squeezed between administrative overloads. Peer-led critical dialogue. We need safe spaces, online and in person, where we can question, adapt, and refine our practice without fear of managerial repercussions. To reclaim agency is to insist that our collective work is the critical and cultural force that shapes education. The second pillar is to rethink competency. As transformative intellectuals, our focus must move beyond the technical how-to, like technological competency or pedagogical competency, and toward the relational and ethical why. Relational competency and digital empathy. Digital tools, while connecting us, risk stripping away crucial nonverbal clues, making miscommunication easier and isolation more likely. Our task is to restore humanity. This means cultivating digital empathy, the ability to read and respond to emotion in digital space through explicit training in online communication etiquette. This also means emphasizing non-violent communication and constructive conflict resolution, both in the classroom and in our professional networks. 2. Ethical civic competency and systematic justice. Our collaboration must also serve a democratic purpose. Collaboration is essential to advance ethical civic competency, which moves beyond basic online safety to address systematic injustice. This requires cultivating justice-oriented citizenship. This means empowering teachers to challenge digital inequality, expose algorithmic bias in edtech, and advocate for equitable access of technology as a human right. This collective work is the ethical and political formation of the broader social order that reminds us in the true mandate of the teacher as intellectual. 3. Professional learning networks. Relational skills fuel the professional solidarity. Our professional learning networks, like InSchool, are not just about sharing lesson plans. They are supportive ecosystems that enable collective reflection, counter isolation, and sustain the joy of teaching. To rethink competency is to recognize that our strongest technology is still human connection, supported by a shared ethical commitment to justice. The third and final pillar is to reconstruct well-being as a collective priority. When teachers are isolated and overburdened by digital labor, burnout rises. This is a structural crisis, not a personal weakness. The high cost of isolation and workload. Burnout is not solved by telling us to be more resilient. It is solved by rebuilding the professional structures that sustain us. The data from Thailand shows the profound impact of poor structure. Like poor workplace relationships increase burnout risk by more than threefold. And workload teachers in their first 1 to 10 years are 4.1 times more likely to burn out, and 20 hours per week of teaching were 2.1 times more likely to burn out than those teaching less than 20 hours. This underscores that structural solidarity is the best defense against burnout. A collective structural response. Our collaboration must be directed towards structural interventions. First, reducing digital labor. We must collectively advocate for policies that reduce digital overload and protect the right to disconnect. A structural intervention to protect the time needed for collective professional inquiry and rest. Second, mentorship programs. Collaboration must be institutionalized for vulnerable structured peer mentoring, observation, and joint reflection. Must be mandated for new and rural teachers to counter their high attrition risk. And the last, emotional support networks. Strong, empathetic peer communities are essential to turn teaching from an isolated vocation into a collaborative profession, affirming that teacher health is a public good sustained by solidarity. Today, let us embrace the mandate of the transformative intellectual. Our collaboration is our political and ethical duty. The collaborative professions we envision is one where we reclaim agency as co-creators by establishing a collective voice. Rethink competencies to center relational and ethical skills for justice. Reconstruct well-being through structural solidarity. When we do this, teaching ceases to be a solitary act of survival and becomes a shared act of collective cultural and democratic creation. This is the future we deserve, one built not on isolation and compliance, but on collaboration, dignity, and hope. Thank you, and happy World Teachers' Day.